Yeah. Hi guys, welcome to the I Am Independent podcast with Loretta and Bianca. This week we are talking 5 things you could do during lockdown. Now, we don't want to make it 5 things you should be doing or 5 things you ought to be doing, because what ought we to be doing during a pandemic? But it's just 5 things that we thought could be helpful to be doing, and you probably know or have thought of a lot of these things before, but we thought it would be great to talk about them from an independent artist perspective. So here we go.
It's interesting because a few artists have asked us about how they can use their time in lockdown, and certainly in coaching sessions I've done, people have asked me what they should focus on. And there's, like we said, there is nothing you should be doing or ought to be doing, but these are some suggestions, and we're very aware that people are coming from very different circumstances at the moment. Maybe it's unique to all of us to be in one place in one time, which to some extent creates some space for us. But you could have a partner at home that you don't normally have at home, or your children at home, and that can be difficult to fit things in. And equally, if you're perhaps isolating by yourself, then having this open abyss of time can also prove just as difficult to know what should you be doing, how can you get motivated, what could you be doing during that time. So these are simply 5 suggestions to help you along the way. And the first one, quite simply, as an artist, is to write some songs. It's a unique time. Often we complain, I wish I had some time to sit down and write songs, or you grab bits of time when you're traveling, perhaps to work on the tube, or when you're out for a walk, you might get some inspiration of song lyrics. Here's a time when hopefully, even if it is after the kids are in bed or getting up early, or whatever your most productive time is, to sit down and write some new songs. And of course, we're all experiencing all sorts of emotions at the moment. So there's lots of inspiration. Emotions are the great storytellers of our time. So there's great fodder, if you like, in this time. So really push into what you're feeling. Stories you may have heard could be great inspiration for songs as well. And if you really feel like you don't want to write about this time, or you haven't got anything new to say, perhaps it's time to revisit some old songs that you had and finish those songs that you always said, when I get some time, I will go back and finish that. I just need a chorus for that. Then go back and finish those. And there you go. You've used the time to write some songs. That's a good use of time, if you ask me. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I really do think it is a really good use of time if you feel inspired and if you feel like, you have the time, because lockdown is not going to be here forever. It's going to come to a close, and this unique window will be over, and we will be on that treadmill again. And to be able to come out of this place with, we know people who are their mission. They've said, I'm writing an album during lockdown. That's what I'm doing, and to be able to come out of this season with a body of work that is unique to this season, that you might not have had the time to create otherwise, is a gift. So it's not that everyone will be in that place, but if you feel like, you've not had the time, or you've always wished you had the time to do it, like, gosh, this is an opportunity to seize.
And I wonder if you want to speak into point 2B about using this time to reach out to somebody that you have always wanted to work with or to collaborate with.
Yeah, so I feel like lockdown is quite the leveler. It's levels the field where everybody is, either looking for content, maybe not working in the usual ways that they've worked, and also maybe not necessarily have the jobs that they used to have, or not be busy with sort of the artists that they would be, and that they're thinking, oh, what are they going to do if you're a producer or something like that. So it could be like literally an opportune time to contact somebody that you may not have the sort of, courage to contact. You thought they were too busy, too high up, too this or that, but actually now could be a good time to create those relationships and establish that, because everyone, especially in the creative arts, are looking for work, and some people are probably busier than others, but everyone's looking for something, and to be able to create new opportunities for themselves post lockdown, because we don't really know what it's going to look like post lockdown as artists. Like, when is it going to happen? When are gigs going to happen? When's touring going to happen? All of those things that kind of do make us the money. So it would be good. It's probably a good time for collaboration and to build up the tracks that you want to create, the songs, building new sounds. People have time to create. So I would definitely do that if you felt like now's the time to create for you.
I think it's a time for courage as well, for us to really do what we have to in these times. And I think what you said is absolutely right about it being a leveler at the moment. And I've found that it's easier to get hold of people that I would sometimes find it difficult to get hold of, because everybody is at home, you know, so they are mainly on devices. So if you send that message, they are likely to see it. So it is a great time to reach out and do that, and just have some courage. You've got nothing to lose. I think one thing about this whole situation is it puts things into perspective, and just, you know, a rejection or silence or a polite no, I think we can handle it. We've learned we can handle quite a lot more than we thought we could.
Yeah, even for us with I'm Independent, and, you know, this is our first kind of video, we're filming it, you know, over Zoom, and we wouldn't have done that before because we wanted it to be all, you know, pretty and, you know, amazing cameras and stuff. But you know, the lockdown has leveled the field, so we're like, okay, let's do this, let's try this. And, you know, we put on our first course because, you know, why not? And I think it's definitely a season of why not, like, what's the worst that can happen? And like, taking the risk now is probably a good time to try things, be experimental, contact those people that you haven't contacted before, you know, all those different things. Like, we are trying lots of new things ourselves as business people and as creatives, and we just encourage you guys to as well.
And actually, that's a really good lead on to suggestion number 3, which is to upskill yourself during this time, to enroll on an online course or a webinar, something that's going to extend your knowledge. You might not be able to practice being an artist, as in performing live, but what you can be doing, in a way, it's slowed everything down, not necessarily pause, but everything is on slow motion. So you can kind of catch up with your skills. You can read a book on how the music industry works. You can enroll on a course to find out some of the areas that you know are your weak areas, or you've always wanted to find some more knowledge. And literally, that's, like Bianca just said, that's exactly why we started our online course. And the feedback we've had from the artists who attended the first one is just that it's been really helpful for them to get round to learning some things they wanted to get round to do. And you'll probably have seen from your social media feeds, lots of people have popped up doing their services online, whether that's a vocal coach or us with our bootcamp, or all sorts of things have transferred online. And there's some really useful bits of information that you can learn. So upskill yourself in any way you can, and maybe even in something that's not to do with music, but in terms of being an artist, there's loads of seminars and things that can tell you really useful information you're going to find useful for time to come.
Yeah, even things like, you know, when we're putting out music and I just don't know how to promote it. I don't know how to do Facebook Manager or Google Ads, or, you know, I don't know how to use TikTok right. How do I do that in an effective way? Like, this is the time to do that. There's plenty of videos, podcasts, and you could create your playlist and work your way through your podcast playlist. As you say, even with our online course, you know, there was somebody that came on the course who, you know, has been making music to a high level with some major artists, and they'd never got around to sorting out their royalties. So they'd never been paid, and they just thought, meh. And like, now they went on a course, and like, now they were like, oh, there's money sitting somewhere for me. It behoove me to fill out a few forms so that money can find its way to me. And going on a course like this has helped him to do that. And I think there are things that we can do to upskill ourselves, so that we're, even if we don't create any music right now or do anything else like that, that we can be even more ready and even more skilled to create and share music down the line.
And fourth point, it's something I think that most artists do. Some love it, some hate it. We know it's a necessary thing, but it's certainly a time where you can, again, up this, and that is to engage with your following and your fans on social media. We're all spending so much more time on social media than we normally would during this time. And that means that your fans are and your followers are as well. So get to know them and give them an opportunity to get to know you. This is a great time where you can cement that relationship, show them a bit more insight into your life. After all, you're at home, only sharing what you're comfortable with. But it's a great time to put a bit of effort into that. Because again, I think it's one of those things that people intend to do, or if they're busy, they do the minimum. So this music's coming out. But in terms of really investing and building up a relationship with your followers, which after all is what converts them ultimately to fans, is so important. So even if things like if you've been meaning to get round to make a Facebook group, that's one of the things that we've done during this time, then now's the time that you can do that. Or perhaps running a Q&A on Instagram, so giving your fans the opportunity to get to know you. Maybe before you've thought, I haven't got time for that sort of thing, and now you could plan it for next week, or just do it off the cuff if you wanted to, when you have got time, so you can fit it around your schedule. The great thing is, because nobody is on a kind of set routine at the moment, you don't have to think, oh, I should only do this in an evening. Someone will be online at any time of the day. Don't forget, most things you can save as well if you go live, so that people can watch it again afterwards. But it's a great opportunity to get to know your fans, but let them to get to know you as well.
Yeah, and I think, there's a lot of live streams and things like that happening where people are sharing, taking the opportunity to share live and to gig online. But as you say, like, if your live streamed out, do you know what I mean? And maybe there is a bit of live stream fatigue starting to creep in. Like, it's just like bringing everyone into your day and the things that you're doing, the things that you like, getting to know you, because actually, people connect with us. People connect with our music more when they feel like they're more connected to us. So, and finding ways to like just connect authentically with our audience that's authentic to us and genuine to us is cool. And it could be on the stories. Sometimes you look at someone's stories and they've got 20 little dashes up there, and you think, oh, that's quite a lot, but that's not much of your day, really. Each one of those is only 15 seconds. It's not a huge amount of anyone's day. But finding ways to do that in a way that you like, sharing the music that you like, maybe your recommendations, things that you like to do, how you're inspired as an artist, things you like to do when you're not doing music, anything really. If you're funny, I'm not funny, but if you're funny, you
Yes,
could do it.
You make me laugh.
So yeah, just like getting to know them, getting to know the people who follow you, and allowing them to get to know you it's just a good time to do that without the added pressure of work and other commitments that make it seem like a chore. It could just be like a creative outlet in a way with your newfound friends or online friends.
And if you've been listening to this or watching this and thinking, oh my gosh, that is stressing me out to even hear that, here's something else I should be doing and I'm feeling bad, then this fifth and final one is for you.
Yeah, and I'm going to start it off with a little quote, actually. I put it up on my stories yesterday, and it seemed to resonate. It's something I came across, someone's post, and it was from Glennon Doyle, and she said, I have not written a word during quarantine. Just a reminder to worried artists or anyone. There are times for creating and times for becoming the person who will create the next thing. For many of us, this is a becoming time. Rest and become. And that really resonated with me. There are a lot of people being busy right now. I've got friends who are like, I'm coming out of this locked and loaded. And it's not for all of us. Some of us have other commitments. I've got family. I'm like, if I get inspiration on my voice notes, that's what's happening. And I'm like cooking and voice noting at the same time, and for me, I'm leaning into reading. I'm reading all those books that I never really got to read. And I'm like going through, there's like a shelf. I've read most of them, but the ones up there, like, I'm going through those. I've wanted to read them, but it's helping me to become. It's feeding my heart, feeding my mind, connecting with people, not doing anything, catching up on sleep. Like this could be a time where you just are able to exhale and feed your heart, feed your mind for when you do feel like that is the time to create and to write and to connect with others through your music. So don't feel pressure to do stuff. I think we all know if this season is an opportunity to create or not. Like we know ourselves. So if it is, then do that. But if you feel like it isn't, then don't do it. Like, unbutton your top button of your jeans, let your belly hang out and enjoy yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so important to give yourself permission to do nothing some days or all of the time, and really listen to your body. I think we as artists can sometimes ignore that, and ignore ourselves and our own needs, and certainly this is a time to still ourselves, to listen to that. So it's also enough if you decide to do absolutely nothing in this time, and just live and become. That is at some point will definitely for sure work its way into your art, because that's what we do as artists. We pour ourselves into our art. That's what makes us artists. So we are giving you permission to do absolutely nothing as well. But hopefully if you have wanted some ideas of how to be focused, because that helps you, some people really need things to do to feel okay, then hopefully these suggestions have given you a little bit of a kickstart as well. Do report back to us. Let us know how you've got on with any of these. We would love to hear your stories, and we always love sharing them. So thanks for listening.
See you next time.
So cool. I'm going to stop that to save that recording.